So my name is Joycelyn Rodriguez, Joyce for short. And I'm an ESL teacher at New Britain High School. I'm also in charge of the Latinos in Action program in the school. It's a pretty relatively new program that the district has been establishing slowly across the district. So there's my email. I'll share it a little bit later again, just to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing a little bit. I'm just going to go over the portrait of the graduate and kind of how I've used Screencastify in the past. I'll go over the tutorial on what, the stuff on for Screencastify, and then give you guys time to play with it a little bit and your closure. And the exit ticket towards the end. I'll post the link in the chat towards the end. So, I mean, for the portrait graduate, so for Screencastify, my personal experience, I used it a lot. That was a thing, probably one of the tools that I use more than almost as much as Google Classroom, right? Google Classroom is everything. Screencastify was right up there. And I didn't use a lot of the submission feature, but I know a lot of colleagues who did. I like to say, if you use it for assignments, it's great to give cross-cultural understanding for kids who, I'm an ESL, so letting them share about their own experiences on a certain topic and recording themselves and sharing and speaking in their second language is like, this tool is great for them for that. So it gives them also the ability to have to create, be creative in how they solve their problems, how they talk or share a detail, preparing or even decorating it, because you can put stuff in the video the way you use it. So, it lets them to construct arguments and have to discuss and share, and it's really speaking and less typing, right? And it gives them purposeful communication. So I asked you earlier, kind of, if some of you kind of use Screencastify. So if you want to connect your Screencastify, you gotta go to the little puzzle piece up here. If you have to be using Google Chrome for this extension, the district pays for the extent for us to be able to record more than 5 minutes. The free trial is only 5 minutes worth of recording, but the district pays for the license for it, so it should be installed in your extensions here. If you use the little thumbtack, it'll pin it, so it'll be like your main button, basically. So I have it pinned, right? So it's always here for me to access. Right now I'm recording, so it's telling me how long it's been recording. I can dump it, I can restart it, I can pause it, or I can stop it from this menu. So this is where you're gonna double check if you're logged in or not, because it's gonna ask you to sign in. So in order for me to give you kind of an immersive experience, I pulled up one of the videos that I made. This is a video I made where I was explaining to somebody, I don't know who, probably a colleague of mine, how to download an extension into Google Chrome. And I can share it with you later if you want. So when you open the video, it looks like this. You have to go to open an editor to actually edit it. And I have it open here. All right. So this is basically what it looks like when you are editing it. So I'm going to minimize this little window. I'm going to move my baby window over here. Okay. The bottom is the audio. So that's a new feature they just added, is that you can see your original audio. You can, I guess, click on it. In my slideshow, I show you highlighted versus unhighlighted. That makes a difference because that's how you know what you're editing or not. So if you notice the tools, if you click out of it and it's gray, I clicked it, so now it's there. If you don't click on it, it's not highlighted, you can't use the tools at that moment. It's gonna tell you like, oh, you can add text at this line. So if you see how your mouse moves, there's a little line that's telling you like where you're gonna add this tool. But once you click on it, they're like, oh, okay, where do you want to cut or crop or zoom or whatever, right? So that's what it's doing. The highlighting thing, you got to pay attention to it because sometimes if you're not like, man, why is this not? Oh, it's not highlighted, and it's something like really silly. Okay. The zoom feature. The zoom feature is like if there's a moment in the video where you want to zoom into a page for a second. So this is the zoom feature right here. So let's say I'm kind of like, oh, you guys have to press on this button. I can change like the shape of it. So then I can preview it. So I'm gonna play it.
So the extension that I use is this one.
See, it zooms in.
But the way I get there is I click on the...
And it zoomed out. So right when it plays it, it shows you like, okay, zoom in, zoom out right here. You can move it along it. So once you place that tool that you used in that part of the video, if you don't like where it zoomed in or what moment it zoomed in, you can move it around. You can extend it. Maybe you want it to zoom in for a really long time. You can do that, right? So this is this way that you can warp it, whatever, depends on whatever tool you have, and you can do it for text. So let's say I want to add a text at this point in the video. I can add a text here. I don't like that it's so small. I can't see it. I'm gonna edit it. Oh, here's a text box. So if I say click here. This size. You're like, oh, but this font, I can't see anything behind it. Sometimes what I do is I fill it. I will fill it in black and put the font in white. And if you want to use that as a subtitle or like, oh, right here, click on this. Or if you really need it to stand out and you have a lot of colors or a lot of movement, if you contrast like a subtitle, basically, it'll help you. So you can kind of, if you put different text boxes, it layers it. I don't know if any of you have experience with Google Slides. It does a lot of layering. Like if I put another, I'm gonna add another text. You see? It's like click here. I can move it back. So that's how the layers work. So if you have several boxes, if you want it to have an edge or not. So it does give you, this gives you like if you want it in the really center of the box. So it gives you a lot of settings on how you want this text box, where you want it, what do you want it to look like, all that in that sense. So that's pretty much, that's a text box. So you'll see when you press play,
I click on the three dots. I go to...
So they show up, okay, for this length, for this amount of time. Good questions. All right, going to questions. It will ask you for permission for drawing tools, microphone, and camera. So when you set it up, you have to give it yes. Otherwise, if you said no, you have to go back to the settings to give it permission. You can edit old videos. I will show you how you can go back to your library of videos. And can we edit the video we created earlier this week? Yeah, so I'm gonna show you. You're gonna go to your pink arrow up here and go to the 3 lines. 3 lines usually means a menu. Excuse me, sorry. So then you have recordings, you go to your recordings, and it's gonna open all your library of videos. I don't want to do it because it's going to slow my computer down. I have a lot of videos. So when you click on it, you're going to choose the video that you want, and it's going to look like this. It's going to open up the video like this, and it's going to open it up to like the share download setting right here. And when you get there, you have to go to open in editor. So I can't find my toolbox. I'm going to pause it from coming back to my presentation, the Google Slides. The blur is cool for like if you want to hide faces, or maybe you're using your personal computer and you don't like that your name showed up somewhere, or just you can really just blocks out stuff, and it gives, if you can see here, it shows like an intensity, like how blurry you want it for it to be, and you can put several blurs in the same square. So that's cool. It's right here. So let's say I want the blur in this part of the video. I'm gonna click blur, and it's like, oh, I don't want anybody to see. Yeah, so it blurs it up pretty well. You can change the size of it, which is I thought was really cool. So maybe I want to blur this whole menu and just show you the buttons. That's kind of cool. Like if you're going over a quiz and has the answers in some places or something, and you want to hide spots, so I can delete it. I just press my space button, my back button on my computer, on the keyboard. So if I want to erase this one, is this like I gotta click the whole box. Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. How do I erase it? Nope. Oh, just delete. Yeah. Okay. So you have to be in the actual text box to just delete it. Oh, okay. Cool. And I'm assuming that if I want to do that, I just go boom. Okay. Yeah. So I can just delete it. Right. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. All right. Cropping it. Let's see what happens when I crop it. Say I want to crop this. Does it crop out? Oh, it crops out the whole video. Okay. So if you see, the whole video is cropped. So, okay, so I'm gonna undo this because it looks weird now. Okay, so that's convenient when, like, let's say if I wanted to send this video and I didn't want people to see this big bar, all my Outlook part, and that video, and I just wanted to go clink and just cut it off, I could, and it would look like that. It cuts off the whole clip that you highlight. That's your crop. Your cut is where you cut scenes out. So like, let's say I think that this part of the video is really good. This is the important one, your cut. If you want to edit a chunk of the video out and you're like, oh, everything up to here is beautiful. Everything until I click here. You cut it and it becomes two pieces, and then you can either delete it, or you can basically cut it up into pieces. This is your timeline down here, so you cut it up and you can, like, oh, I like the middle but I don't like the ending, and I like some of this. Well, I'll cut it here, and then I can reorganize it, so I can put it somewhere else, or I could just straight up delete it. Right, I could do that. Undo. There's a part of you can make the timeline really big. So if it's like, oh, I need this exact millisecond, you can do that. All right. Oh, the other one, there is the adding media. So these are the two things. I'm gonna explain the videos at the end because I think that's really important. I'm gonna go adding media. Won't take too long. Adding media is simple. If you have two videos, so one thing that would happen to me was that I would be what I used to do is that I would record my lessons so that kids that were absent could watch the video. So sometimes it would get stuck. I stopped it accidentally is what would happen. Instead of pausing it here, I would stop it accidentally and I'd be like, no, I have to start this over again. Nah, I continue and then I come to editor, I add the second video and then I just pink and I connect them because you can do that. So if I want to add another video from my Screencastify, so I'm gonna go here. So if I wanted to add like, oh, this is, I would put part one, part two. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna add this one in here. I'm gonna choose a crazy one like this. Oh, I'm gonna add my second one. You can merge them in this editor. There it is. The audio, the video. I probably picked like a really long video. So I'm not gonna go super into it, but that's what it's convenient. You can add I'm gonna go over title. So you can upload any sort of video or media in there. And then the thing here, title, is a title card. So it's different from text because it's a whole page basically. And it's like, okay, almost like a movie. Like, okay, this is a movie, and then it starts. And then if I want to put one at the end, I can. It'd be like, okay, the ends, right? No, not here.
So when you do a title that doesn't have anything to do with the video itself, you're just inserting kind of like a title page.
Yep, exactly. Right here. So it looks like what it does is that it's adding. So you see, it actually added two elements. It added the text and it added like a blank card. So if I wanted to move it, I'm gonna assume if I command, can I command? Yeah, you see how I did that? Interesting. So I added the title and like a blank space, basically. Yeah. So like for your credits. I'm assuming you can do it in between a video, right? Maybe you're explaining something in science or math and you want them to have like a visible, this is step one. You do your title card, you do the video, and then in between is like step two. You can put a title card there. Step two, and then the video starts. So that's cool. You can put little like, this is the next step, or this is the next thing you do.
You could also use that as like a works cited page, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say like, oh, here's the thing. Can you click on them? Probably not, because you can't click on links on a video. So you could do works cited, but it wouldn't be clickable. I don't think their text gives you the ability. Yeah, there's a
I just mean if a student's doing a project and they insert a video clip or something, then at the end they could be like, oh, this is my source.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. That's also a great way of doing that. So that's cool. And that's something that they like upgraded, like they updated their settings. So this is kind of cool. You can also add, and I hadn't tried. I downloaded a song right now that I like randomly listen. You can add media. You can add audio. So if you want to put, I wonder if it has to be saved in a certain format. It might have to be saved in my Google Drive to add it. Oh, very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna pause this recording. So I'm gonna repeat this while I'm recording so that everybody can hear what I kind of just discovered. So I was trying to upload an audio. So one of the new features that Screencastify has is this audio bar here. It tells you the sounds when you're talking or when you're not. And maybe that's really helpful when you have background noise. It's the volume that it lets you edit. So maybe if something's really loud or you can't hear yourself, it's too low, you can increase the volume. But you cannot add audio. This is only to add videos or a title card, but no audio. So it just lets you alter audio when if you double click on it, highlight the clip, click the audio, it lets you increase or decrease. So that's what it seems like. That's about it. But no, you can't add like music. I'm assuming it's already going to have to be playing if you want music. So an interesting question that was asked was about the toolbar, and this toolbar only shows up when you're recording, which is what I'm doing right now. Because I'm reusing Screencastify, it shows up. Otherwise, this toolbar is non-existent in the editing portion. The toolbar lets you draw. For those who may not know, you can clear the screen. I can, if I wanted to click or if I wanted to focus on something, these are all really convenient tools. I didn't go over it because there is another Screencastify overview that I'm sure we'll go over these basic tools of Screencastify. So if anybody has questions on the tools in the session, I would love to answer those questions on the toolbars and the recording. However, I've been focused on the editing portion of Screencastify. The trick with this little toolbar is that sometimes if I switch through tabs really quickly, it needs time to catch up. You see how that? Watch, I switch. That one was there. That one, it's still not, it hasn't shown up yet. Sometimes it'll show up, sometimes it's there now. But it takes time sometimes to show up. And I'm like, oh, or you can't find it because you can minimize it now. You couldn't before, you can now. You can move it different places. So this toolbar, they made it better. It's awesome. Sometimes I can't find it, so I pause it here, up here. Sometimes you can pause from your window up here. It's because this is stagnant. So, yeah, the toolbars, because I'm using Screencastify, so I'm sorry, everybody. Toolbars, you gotta use it after. If you needed to write or something afterwards, I don't know that there's a way to do it. I would have personally, if I'm like, oh man, I should have drawn something here and I forgot, I didn't circle it, or I would have probably recorded it again and added and merged it in, to be honest. It's a pain, but I don't think you can, it sucks too. Well, now that you guys bring it up, I'm like, they should have a pen afterwards. That's like the best part. Screencastify is their little tool.
So you can merge two videos?
Yeah. So you can so this doesn't let you upload audio, it lets you upload videos. You go from Drive and you let's say if I go to Screencastify. I don't know, and I add that video, it'll add it to there. So if you make a mistake, you can re-record and merge it in there. And it's there. So that's the cool thing about it. You can add other videos when necessary. Or you can upload it directly from your computer, but it's more complicated. I usually tend to just go through Google Drive. It's easier. The settings tend to be different depending on whether you're using a Mac, a Chromebook, or a Windows. So in my Mac computer, there's a setting that lets you, it's not going to show now because I'm recording. There's a setting that shows how to turn on or off the audio of a video. So let's say I'm recording my screen, right? I'm recording my screen and I'm playing a video. It'll let you stream that audio through it and it sounds better. There's like, and it only shows up on my Windows at work. It won't show up on my Mac. So there's like little things that'll be different depending on what kind of computer you're using. And the other feature that Screencastify has is the submit feature. So if right here, So if you want to assign Screencastify as an assignment, you can. If you want to assign assignments where kids record themselves, it's almost kind of like Flipgrid, but Screencastify has a thing. It works with Google Classroom pretty well, but I think you have to like pay to do more than one, and it's not super convenient. I know there are some people who used it, but there is another feature to Screencastify if you want to use it as an assignment to assign things. So I'm gonna put I put the Google form in the chat box. I'm gonna give you some time to kind of play with the program, have any questions or troubleshooting. One last thing I want to go over is exporting them. Once you're done, you can either save them. So an MP4 is a typical file, video file on a computer. So it'll save like to your computer. Or you can export it to Google Drive and it'll save it'll basically just save up here, right? It'll save into your Google Drive. And that's pretty much your option. Once you have it done, that it's like saved. So I usually export it to Google Drive because that's where I have all my videos. I save it there. And then that's where you have your options to, like, when you open it again, it'll be like how you share it. If you want to publish it to YouTube, if you want to directly into Google Classroom, you can also download it into your computer. You know, again, export MP4. Export, like, just take the audio out, which is interesting. Or you can download it as like a GIF, you know, like those things you set on your phones and they like move and they repeat. Yeah. So you can do that too, which is interesting.
So you can send this out without the video, just the audio?
Yeah, interestingly enough. So if you wanted to just record it for whatever reason, you just want the audio, you can do that. You can download it in different formats. So there's multiple ways that they give you to share it. Email. A QR code is what they do, like, you know, in the menus when you go to a restaurant and you just take a picture with your phone. So that means that if it gives you a QR code, it'll send you directly to this video, right? So maybe if it's a way for parents to contact parent night, meet, look, just take a picture of this video. The video gives you all the instructions to this, and this, right? And you can do that. Or you can have it, you can embed the code if you're into HTML coding.
Have you tried the QR code?
I've used QR codes. I've never had it used through Google, the Screencastify, but this is it. So what you do is you copy it, I'm assuming. So I'm assuming that if I want to paste this into, like, if I open Microsoft Word, that's going to be a mission. Let me see if I can paste it into like Google Drive or a Google Doc. If it doesn't work, then you can take a screenshot, but let's see what happens. So it doesn't work as an image. Oh, it does? Let's see. There it is. So it basically, you can just copy and paste it. So I don't know, you guys can give it a try. See if I'm gonna make this a little bigger. Does it take you? It should take you to this video that on how to download WebPaint.
That's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. WebPaint is also a really cool extension. Just so you know, I'll show you guys. Oh, do not. Where is it? Do not. Remove it. No. All right. Well, I guess this is not gonna be the video, where I was gonna show you. WebPaint is this little paintbrush. It basically lets you draw. So without Screencastify's tools, I was able to draw on my computer when I was explaining things to the kids. But I don't see it here. I wonder if they removed it. Because the pen for Screencastify for me is always, this is my favorite thing. I use it all the time. Like, all right, click here. And then they did the clear screen. They updated the clear screen button. And that's nice because before you would have to do eraser. You would have to like, oh, this, and then you'd have to grab the eraser and erase it. And that took forever. It's kind of cool. You could do stickers, like shapes. So that's one of the cool things about Screencastify's tools. Sometimes I would run Screencastify, pause it, and then just use the tools to teach because they were just so useful. They were so important in my day-to-day clicking. It's tough, right? So there's a couple more minutes left. I'm gonna let you guys kind of play with it a little bit, play with the tools in the meantime. So one of my favorite things for this was that I could share it straight to Google Classroom. It would tell me to choose what class I wanted to upload it to. It fell asleep on me. Well, usually it'll ask what class, right in the box. What class do you want it to be? A material, an assignment, a link? There it is. So if I do summer school, I want it to be an assignment. I click go, and it goes directly to what you want it.
Just so you know, you're not sharing your screen.
Oh man. All right, hold on. When you're not an editor, so essentially like when you just have the video open, it's already saved, it's done, you want to share it, you click share to classroom. It'll ask you what classroom do you want to share it to, right? You click the classroom and then you create, do you want it a question? Do you want it to show up as an announcement, right? So usually I would actually do material usually, but just so everybody can see what it looks like. So assignment gets kind of just the same exact setup. Doom, doom, doom. You can schedule it and it goes straight there. There are some settings. So like if I wanted to add another link, I can't because it's coming from Screencastify directly. So if I wanted to add another link and I'm not ready to upload or anything, I just save drafts. Save drafts, and then I come back to it and I add whatever I want to it. But it's really easy to work with Google Classroom. That was one of my favorite things. Sometimes I would say do the lesson and do really quickly, upload that lesson to Google Classroom, and I don't have to worry about it again. So I hope that it ends up being a really strong tool in your classroom and that it ends up being as helpful to you as it was for me with it. And thank you for joining in. So essentially what I'm going to do is once we're done here, I hit the stop button and it's going to automatically open here. And then it's going to tell you, oh, uploading into Google Drive. So I kind of just give it some time. The longer the video, the longer the upload, the more the memory, the more it has to process. So that's your 411 for Screencastify for today. But yeah, thank you